Welcome you all to the Reality or Not podcast with your boy DJ Reality and your boy Brian Clincy from Nothing New Under the Sun. Yo, Brian, how you doing today?
Man, I'm blessed and impressed with the life God gave me.
All right, that's good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. It's always good to get that energy started on a Sunday. Got up, cooked breakfast, did my stretches, did my workouts and stuff like that, and feeling good. So, other than that, you want to jump right into it? You want to go straight to the topics?
Yeah, let's go straight to the topics.
Cool. One of the things I had on my heart, I've been thinking about, is what's the difference between like switching your career and advancing within your career currently? Because I see some people, they're starting to, I don't know if they're getting older and they're just like, well, this isn't where I want to be career wise and stuff like that. But then how would you think to pivot in those scenarios? Because as an example, say for instance, you've been an at-home mom for 20 years, then you're like, oh, well, let me switch over to tech. Like, is that a lot? Not say if it's a logical transition, but how difficult do you think that would be for someone to be able to try to pivot within that realm?
Well, that might not be as difficult depending on how tech savvy that person is. Somebody that might be a homemaker might be like the analytical thinker, the person that puts stuff together, and that kind of knows how user interface is working, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not a far jump. That is the grandson SI.
So, but what about like when you look at it from the standpoint of like say for instance companies, right? I'm gonna say from an employer perspective, it's like, well, I'm looking at your and this is ways that they try to discount you. I mean, because I think any job, in my opinion, you can do it as long as you take the time to be able to figure it out and have the time for a company to let you grow within it. So, like from an employer's perspective, if I look at your resume and I look at your last 20 years, and you're 35 or 40, and say you're 40, and you've been an at-home mom for say 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. And you're applying for a job, and you're like, well, and it could be entry level, just depends on the type of job that you're applying for. But like, how do you pivot to room? How do you get in that room and tell them, hey, look, I'm the person for the job, I can do this, where you have limited experience and the only thing that you have is maybe a few classes at a university or a college or something like that?
Well, see, in tech it's a little bit different, because in tech, like, you got 12-year-olds that's getting positions based on their hacking or whatever. So like it's not going to be for everybody. Everybody ain't going to be able to make the jump and get in front of somebody. You're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to put in some work other ways. And when I say that, it's like to get an entry level job, they want some type of experience. They want to see what you do. They want to have and you know what? And I think I'm kind of jaded because I've been taking some interviews by some companies that I feel like really wasn't hiring. They just wanted to see what was out there and
putting you in the mix just because to say, hey, we interviewed 5 people, and then keep it going. And sometimes companies don't even have they don't even, like, they'll be under a moratorium where they can't even hire, but yet they're sitting up here doing interviews and almost wasting your time. So
it is wasting your time. The only plus you get is you get to sometimes you get some feedback, and sometimes you can either get fresh. I mean, sometimes you can get a handle of what's really going on in the market about how many of those that you get that you have access to. But I would say that you have to be unique in the fact that if you're making that jump, and it's definitely one that can be made, you just got to have some projects under your belt. You got to have some whereabout around yourself where you can say, dang, I really created this, and like I know how this happens and I know how this works. That's that. So,
but how do you get those projects if you don't have no experience within those projects?
So
someone told me like, hey, I want to program in Python, or I want to get now I'll say this, within Salesforce, I know that there's a space you can do it. You can do it within their trailheads and stuff like that. But say for instance, something, like when you're talking within coding, how do you say, well, this coding, like how do you get
So
the experience to show
that's
that
the
this
great
is
part about being open source stuff, right? Being
mm-hmm.
open source and then like seeing like different projects on GitHub, and that's where I tell people like to get in first if you're really looking to see, because you can see what people code look like, and then they have like what they call pull requests, and pull requests might be something where they say, hey, this is something wrong, but I don't have time to work on it, and then so you can go figure it out, do a pull request, and get your stuff merged into it, a bigger project. So like that's one of the coolest things that's out there. I found a few bugs that I fixed, and then you can put it on your little resume or whatever.
But Brian, that's different for you compared to somebody that has. Think about it like this, right? You're talking, say for it's college or say for even high school, right? We get to high school and they're like, okay, you got to learn algebra. It's like, well, how do you learn algebra if you never taken, I don't know, pre-algebra or geometry and stuff like that? Now you're just, and I'm saying that from the standpoint of you understand that there's resources out there, but how do the people that, like I said, 20 years, look at it from this standpoint, 20 years removed, you say 2025, we're in 2025 now, you go back to 2005, at least even for me, like with a computer science degree, my coding is totally different from 2000, from when I graduated in 2002 to what you're looking at in 2025. But I can adapt pretty easy just because that baseline.
You understand the concept.
Yeah.
So and now I get a better understanding of your. Yeah, we talk that talk. You heard my grandson, the talk to talk. So the first thing that I would invite somebody to do is go to one of these meetups. They have different program meetups, and it depends on where you at that you can have the quality of your meetups. But that's one of the reasons why I end up enjoying Orlando better. So like you go to meetup.com and then you look at what, like my stack is a LAMP stack, right? So they got LAMP meetups, they have developer meetups where you can go and then you can actually talk to people that are in those roles, and then you can find projects and that way you would find the projects that you could contribute to. Check out like most of the time they have hackathons, and a hackathon is where you can really get into how deep your knowledge is compared to everybody, because you have entry level from at a hackathon to prime level at a hackathon. And so I would suggest first YouTube, the University of YouTube. Everybody go there, look up, high paying jobs in software development, and then see where you think you can fit in there. And then the second place I would go is the meetups and go and actually get to know people in that community, because I don't want to take it on the tangent, but I was in Atlanta a couple of weeks, last week. And when I say that there's a different breed of technologists, there are. So like a lot of times I go to these conferences and stuff, you don't see many Black people, and then the Black people that you do see, they Dungeon and Dragon and anime type people. So it's not really a lot of conversation in between there.
Lesser known weirdos. So we don't want to say all of them are weirdos, because then that's when you get canceled. You get canceled for anything these days. And like I said, we're not big enough to get canceled, but yet people still find reasons to. He called all of us weirdos.
Yeah, I mean, and you got some type of weird to want to be in this field where it's mostly dominated by white people and what they think and their language, right?
You can throw Indian people there as well, because India is definitely the offshore resource for every company I've worked for within technology or within programming and development.
Right. So get to know the people that's in that field, and that's the way I met people in that field, going to the meetups, being on YouTube, looking at the comments and replying to comments too. Like some people will hit you back. I get amazed when I get a notification on my YouTube and it's a comment and I'm like, oh shoot, these people really listen to it. So like I have to go back there. But then you have places like Udemy who have some free courses stuff.
And like, you got free courses, paid courses, whatever you want to go with. And that's important. I feel like sometimes I feel we've oversold tech, right? And I say that as in everyone knows that tech can make money, but the things that you're saying, people are, I want to say they're unwilling to do. I say some people are unwilling to do as in they know, oh, tech, I can make money from it. Okay, let me try to get this job, where they may not have the experience or the background in it, like trying to transition from one thing to the other. So it's always, you said Udemy, you said YouTube, all of these other meetups and those, that research or doing those things are precursors to you actually doing an interview. And I say that as in, like, you should be doing these things before you even consider
that's a discovery part.
Applying for a job. Like, this isn't the initiating part. Like, this shouldn't be I'm switching over and I need to have a job within a year within tech. It's like,
don't get your
it's a lot of groundwork to be able to get over there. And this is where I say, with if you're pivoting your career and stuff like that, like, but I do feel like people tend to not do the due diligence to be able to figure that part out before they're before jumping into it and just expect money to automatically come to you, and that's not always true. Like, you got to figure it out. Like, I didn't jump into tech damn near with a computer science degree until like 9 years later. You know what I'm saying? And I was DJing and stuff like that, making great money. So it wasn't that big of it. It wasn't as much of I had to jump into it right away, but I wasn't looking into jumping into it right away. No, that's a lie. I was applying for jobs, just wasn't getting no luck. It was the catch-22
experience.
How in the fuck I got experience if I'm just graduating from college?
How can I get experience, right? Yeah, that was my big dilemma. And like I said, that's why I started my own company, because like I figure I can help, but if ain't nobody else gonna hire me, I can always hire myself.
Yeah,
and figure it out. But the whole thing is, and like, if you take away anything from this, is if you're willing to get into something, if you're willing to make some money, put in the work. And that's reading, that's researching, that's figuring out what are resources you can have access to. I don't know how anybody watches YouTube without paying for the subscription, because there's way too many commercials for me to focus. Mm-hmm. But like, there's written literature. Libraries are dope as heck now, because they got everything at the library. So you can check out a mobile hotspot. They even have some virtual machines that you can use at the different libraries. So if you're thinking about getting in this game, and if you want to get in any game, like we talked about the Thompson twins being built for the NBA, you got to build yourself for this technology stuff. And you said something. It's like, people pivoting or whatever. I basically just pivoted in the last month and a half or whatever.
You have to evolve. You have to like, within tech, you have to do that anyway. I think a lot of people aren't used to that or comfortable with that. Like, they're used to steady, sustained careers, rather than you have to consistently learn. You have to, in order to get the bag or to get to the next state. And this is the difficult part. Like, for me, when I was switching out my career, I was like, well, they're not looking at me, or they're not to say blocking me, but they're saying, well, PMP is required for this role. I'm like, okay, fuck y'all, I'm gonna get a PMP. You know what I'm saying? Now tell me I can't get the job. Or, oh no, you need to have this Salesforce cert. Like, okay, I got the Salesforce cert. Now why are you not fucking with me? I'm certified. The only thing that you can use against me in that scenario is experience. And if it's entry level, and I'm not really I'm not applying for no entry level positions, but like, if it was entry level at the time, then it's like, well, what's your excuse to not like? It's all about how I fit within your organization at that point in time. But I tell people, like, look and understand what the job is asking for. Hell, take what even if that job is not the one for you, but that's the job that you want. Look at what are the roles and responsibilities, and then try to find different projects or different ways that you can create stuff that works around what that requisition says.
Right. Let's go ahead and back it up. Okay. And then, like, the reverse engineer your job, right? Find a salary that you're comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say my salary, between 130 and 155, right? Let's just say that's the salary that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Then you reverse search for it. Like, hey, what jobs do I make between 135 and 155 dollars starting off, right?
Or what jobs can get you to that number? Look on LinkedIn and see, because you can look at somebody's job title, be like, okay, this job title pays between this and this. Search someone's job title, look at the people version within LinkedIn, see what they did within their careers, if that rec or if their experience matches what you're trying to get, then look at what they did before. And then even like, you don't have to necessarily become vice president tomorrow. It's like, well, but if you want a VP role, look at other people's paths to getting there. And granted, you are behind the 8 ball. Like you are talking 20 years, 10 years, etc. You got to figure it out.
Because like there's people that are not behind the 8 ball. Like, so this AI prompting, right?
You're behind the 8 ball if you start out late switching your career in your 40s. You got to figure it out.
So AI. So, but like, let me tell you something. AI prompting is a career where people are making between $150,000 and $200,000 starting off, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, what's a master AI prompter, right? This stuff ain't been around, 4 or 5 years for you to say I got 3 years of experience. So people are doing 2-3 months of experience and going to make between $150,000 and $200,000 a year. So it's not.
You still gotta have some. Not to say everybody has to have this experience, but you still got, like, they're going to look at your track record and be like, okay, this person has had, even though they don't have, because AI hasn't been around that long, they don't have that much experience within this role, but they're going to say, well, this person, I don't know, managed projects within this project, or this person did development within this company, within this, so it's going to still take, like I said, I'm not saying it's impossible, but going from,
I'm just saying, I'm seeing people.
I'm just saying going from making $0 or making $30,000 a year to $150,000 a year is very difficult.
Yes. So I will give you this experience that I talked to this lady at a conference here in Orlando. She was a college professor. She taught English, right? Now all of a sudden she's an AI expert because she's created a bunch of things with AI, and she's got a master prompter. And I said, well, how can you be a master prompter and it's like only 2-3 months for, let's say, a year? ChatGPT came out in, I think, really 2023, right? So let's say you got really good at doing prompts in that, right? How can you go from that jump saying, hey, my ecology to scale is $150,000 to $200,000 a year, right? And she said, look, I have faith that I can prompt through anything you need in AI. So I am a master prompter. And I was like, she has work online where she has went through multiple layers of data to extract exactly what she needed using AI prompting. And she says that track record is where I started charging people. Well, she said where I started applying for AI. She's like, it wasn't even a job. She kind of gave it a title, AI prompt.
But that's
like,
dope.
So you saying you started the AI prompting? And she's like, I didn't really call it AI prompting. I call it AI, like an AI assist or something, like she said. And I was like, yo, so you created a lane out of this stuff because you said this technology, they using it and I believe in it and it's the future, right? So if you have that faith in there and
you can do it, but she's a different type of person. She's like I said, it's an anomaly in the scenario. Like, I feel like you're that type of person. Like, it's almost like you have a fork in the road, and you be like, I don't want to go this route. I want to go this route. So then you pave your own way to still go down that road, but it's not like down the traditional methods all the time. Like, right. And that's like a lot of people don't think that way. A lot of people think, okay, let me learn this so I can do this, or let me learn this so I can do this, rather than let me make a lane for myself because I know that I can be dope. Like the same thing with that woman that you just spoke about. That's how I feel like you think. I think that way sometimes. I definitely think that, okay, well, you're not going to stop me, so I'm going to make my own way to do my own thing. But like with her, she's being creative, and she was probably doing it. It's like the same thing with kids, right? Kids are doing things that, not to say it's way more advanced. Well, it is way more advanced than some of the things that it's definitely way more advanced than things that we were doing as kids. But the things that kids are doing now, being younger, they could make a career out of, versus like the things we were more happy to play kickball. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the things that they're able to do or have access to, they can make their own lane. But I feel like when you're in that middle age to, like how do you find your lane?
That's the wild part to me, right? Because I look at Casanat, right? I'm not a streamer. I'm not that type of person or whatever. I look at these other other people.
23, 24 years old. Has his own streaming university now. It's like, I mean, but who thought to make a streaming university? Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's thinking outside of the box and creating your own lane. It's like, well, shoot, I'm already making good money on this. Let me figure out how I can teach other people to make money on this as well. Which essentially, not to say it's going to take away from him, because a lot of people got to understand, like, yes, you could teach people, but it's only going to be so many amount of people that's going to be as successful. Like he's a leader. It's like,
and he became a leader by being consistent. Like the one thing he was like, yo, I got on there and I being consistent. And then like I just want to say, like, understanding and believing in your craft is 90% of the game, right? So like with the English teacher, and there was a nurse who had changed her career to an AI prompter too, right? They believed in the technology so much because it was like, yo, it works. Like I turned spreadsheets into I turned budgets into spreadsheets, and I'm like, yo, like I would have never thought to say, hey, take my credit card bill and see and categorize it and see what my budget looked like for that month. And I was like, pull it from all these things, but like, if you're changing your career, if you're thinking about changing your career, find something you feel passionate about and do it. Like I just can't believe how these young people like making skits on the internet. Like the dude that the one dude that just got kicked out of the country, that he never talks on his video, he just does.
Oh, that dude, he got kicked out the country?
Oh yeah, he overstayed his visa, and so
see, but that's the thing of getting exposure online. Now they looking into you and delving deep and making sure your visa's intact. They be like, oh shit, he making money? How is he making money? How long has he been here? What's his
when was this tourist visa supposed to expire, right? So watch out. But when you are doing stuff like that, like you don't necessarily, I mean, I think about like how these young kids be making money with these influencer stuff, right? That's not my thing. It's not my thing to be entertained. It's not my thing to like the dude Keith. What's his name? The dude, the food critic.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his last name.
All right, so that dude is a sensation because like he real about his reviews. I was like, okay, all right. I ate at a place that he reviewed just the other day, and
me too. When I was in Houston, I went to like two places that he mentioned. But the thing that's dope about him is that he tapped into a lane that's, so I want to say sensitive for Black folks, but sometimes us as Black folks, I want to say all, but we take ownership of things that we don't own. So as an example, you know, because I've been watching these videos for a minute. I'm like, oh, let me check out this place in Houston. Let me check out this place in Memphis. But when he came to Atlanta, man, it like eyebrows were raised. Why is he talking? Like, why is he saying this about this business and blah, blah, blah? And he wasn't saying anything that wasn't true. I mean, and the thing that's dope about him is that he was trying to do it subtly, right? So he'll send his family in there rather than him going in there, because he knows that he's going to get, like the situation with Old Lady Gang. One time I went there and I'm like, wait a minute, there ain't nobody in here, and you're telling me I gotta wait at least 45 minutes, and I'm literally looking around like there's nobody, like it's probably 4 tables filled.
And see, Atlanta good for that, because Milk and Honey did. That's just me and my aunt the same way, and I was
Milk
like,
and Honey had me waiting like an hour and a half.
I was like, I don't have to be here. Like, I ain't got to spend my money here. But it might have started with T.I. restaurant. You know,
like, it's just the vibes, man. Like, people want vibes. So, like in Atlanta, like the food, the vibes are seen as being better than the actual food. I haven't been to one place in Atlanta where I was just like, the food was better, or not to say where I was just mind blown at the food that was a vibes place. It's literally just, you know, fucking lamb chops, fucking waffle or chicken and waffles and shit. And I'm like, yo, like, I just want good food. One time I went to this place. What's the name of the place? I can't think. Toast on Lennox. Went to this place. Nigga, I got, because, you know, I'm keto. I'm on a keto diet. I got eggs and bacon.
What's the difference on keto on a keto diet?
Well, I was making sure that it was, you know, like I'm not a part of this this cult and shit, because some people feel that it's a cult.
And ketosis, right? You stay in ketosis.
Now listen, somebody was asking me like, well, how do you cook keto? And they were saying like, and the question was like almost like it was a thing, like it was a piece of meat. I was like, nigga, it's food. Like, it's a diet. It's not a food. But anyway, so I'm at Toast on Lennox, and I ordered eggs and bacon, and that eggs and bacon was $26. And they brought it on 2 different saucers, and it was like 2 pieces of bacon, and it was like my eggs with some onions in it and cheese and shit. And I was like, okay, this is not a place I'm gonna come to ever again. You know, and people, but it's a place that people go for brunch and for the vibes. It's like, I wasn't amazed by the food at all, and I haven't been amazed by that. That's one of the things I'll give Chicago up on pretty much every restaurant. I mean, every city I've been in or lived in, because outside of New York, but New York is so, you got to go here, you got to go there, you got to go there.
It's so dynamic too. Like, New York is so dynamic. I will tell you that the best food city that I've been to was Detroit. And like, people be sleeping on Detroit, but Detroit has some of
Detroit got options. I fuck with Detroit.
Yeah, dog. Like, I had never had Indian food, like Asian Indian food or whatever. I've never had the different sub cultures of Indian food. I had Turkish food. I had Mediterranean food. I had.
Where's you at, in Dearborn?
So like, I was in Troy. I'm
saying Dearborn got, like, I mean, you know, it's a suburb, but like Dearborn has like a little section of just strict Mediterranean Indian.
Yeah,
that's like, it's good as fuck. Like, I didn't have like one place I went to that I didn't enjoy. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I had my first experience with chicken shawarma there, chicken shawarma wrap. I was like, yo, and like the pizza and stuff is amazing. It's another food critic that be in this car that I rock with a lot, that I check out, and like, he be in Detroit just talking about the different food, and like they got some stuff. Yeah, so I mess with Detroit. Detroit's
good. I can't think of one thing I've had in Detroit that I thought was just terrible. Now I've been in Atlanta, and it's been not, I wouldn't say terrible, but it wasn't like, I'm not for spending $40 on a plate. If, like I said, I'm eating very light. I'm not eating heavy stuff. I'm not, like I said, if I go to a restaurant, most likely is, not to say it's always a salad, but it's usually like something grilled, like some chicken or a steak or something like that. So when you get to the, chicken breasts and, I don't know, spinach or something like that, and you spending like $40, $45, it's just like, what am I really getting? And granted, I cook. So, and I have to be very creative within my cooking as well, just to keep it interesting. And I feel like, not to be old school, but like my cooking is better than being outside. And I feel like when I was in New York or Chicago, talk. Look, when I was in New York or Chicago, I felt like my food was good, but there were places I would go to. I'm like, not that I can't make it like that, but they make it pretty damn good where I like theirs more than I like mine at times. So it's just weird, like within Atlanta, within that within the food ecosystem, that, like I said, is vibes versus food.
Yeah, Atlanta is definitely vibe centric, but like Atlanta got some really good food. Like that place that I remember the name of it, Bulldoggies.
Bulgogi?
Bulldoggies. Is it Bulldoggies? Yeah.
I mean, I know bulgogi is like it's a steak that's cut very thin, kind of fatty, but really good. But
man, they got that was the place that I ate Bulldoggies in Vegas that want to keep. And I had an egg drop sandwich, and my egg drop sandwich was a French toast. Man, it's like it's crazy. It's like, y'all check it out, y'all make it there. But I mean, doing reviews and stuff like that. I've been doing that.
If they don't give us no sponsorship, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck what they talking about. But, don't go to Bulldog. When you go into Bulldoggies, go in there and be like, yeah, get a reality or not in the Nothing New Under the Sun podcast sponsorship, and we'll throw a 30-second minute filler on here about y'all fucking restaurant.
Yeah, but they and like the what I liked about it, the chef or the head person or whatever, he was super interested in what we had to say about it, because he keep coming out there and listening to what we were talking about, because like I said, it's his food, and I know he was proud of it. So like that's awesome. I love when the police.
I love when they talk to you.
Yeah.
Actually, how was your service? Like, nah, I didn't like this. Nah, this is good. Like like it ain't too many places I go restaurant wise that I haven't. Not to say I didn't enjoy the food. I just look at it from this is what I'm paying for type of, like, nigga, like I went where I go. I went white water rafting yesterday, and like I was like, well, let me figure out what I'm gonna eat for breakfast, and I was like, I'm not gonna have time to cook. I was like, well, let me go to this one spot. It's called First Watch. I was like, let me go over there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, no, I don't think I'm going to go over there.
We got them down here.
I was like, well, shit, I ain't going to have time to sit down and be able to get on the road, drive 2 hours. I was like, well, fuck it. Let me just go to Waffle House. I went to Waffle House. Shit was fucking amazing. And it's always, like, I've never had.
Waffle House? What you eat at Waffle House? I mean,
cheesy eggs, bacon, chicken sausage. That was my meal yesterday, or breakfast meal yesterday.
Okay.
So, $12. Even though they raised their fucking prices, that shit used to be like $7 for the All-Star. All-Star is like $12, but I don't eat the grits or the toast or anything on that anymore, so I just ordered everything separately. But all that being said, people will, I think sometimes perception and cost and what something is, people will down talk those things just because of them getting older or something like that. They be like, oh, I can't eat Waffle House. Waffle House is disgusting. I can't eat IHOP. IHOP is disgusting. I can't eat Denny's. Da, da, da. I'm like, why can't you? It's literally just like, for me, it's just eggs and bacon. Nothing switches up. And even from a breakfast standpoint, breakfast don't really change. Breakfast is always eggs, bacon, sausage, toast, grits. And then if you want to get fancy with it, you could throw some shrimp and shit in it. But most of the time, it's those 5 different ingredients that make up breakfast. No one is changing up the breakfast meal. Like,
wow. I'm gonna just say I went to IHOP last week. I went to I went to Denny's this week in Vegas, and yeah,
I fuck with all of them. Like they're all good. Like
the only thing with Waffle House is like I used to be like it's so greasy or whatever, but it really depends on who's in there and who's cooking. Like your experience is definitely temporary because like you can have the worst experience at some of these places, and then some of the places you can have some of the best because of the people that's in there really appreciate their job, like really take pride in their job, and that's another thing that we got to hammer on.
But that's the vibes, though. Sometimes you go into the vibes place and they have a bad day, and then like you ain't getting served for like 45 minutes. Or like I said, with Old Lady Gang, it's supposed to be about vibes, and I'm not being seated, but yet it's only 8 couples in there like eating totally. It's like it just really depends on what they're doing at the time. So
yeah, I'm walking out. Like, dude,
look at Keith Lee. Shit, when Keith Lee went there, they told him what 2-hour wait. He walked in. They told him 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it really depends on how they feeling that day. It's like, oh, that's
but see, like if you wish washy like that, and I, you know, like if that's some more emotional stuff, and like who bossing up or whatever. I don't have time for that. I went to a restaurant. Me and my boy Ron from Chicago. We go when he here. We'll go to restaurants a lot, and like if they don't acknowledge us in the first 5 minutes, we out. And we was like, yo, are we being too facetious for that? But it's like, yo, we work hard. We spend our hard-earned money. At least you can see us being here and be like, yo, we'll be with you right in a second. Notification makes all the difference at some time, you know?
I think in that scenario, it's 50-50. Just depending on, you know, how busy it is and stuff like that. And but I will say that I can't think of too many places that I've been to where I wasn't acknowledged within the first 5 minutes. Like I can't think of like in life, I can't think of one restaurant I've been to or any place I've been to where they didn't like say, give me a second or seat yourself or, you know, I haven't had that experience. So that'd be crazy to even, I don't even know how it would
at Friendly's here. And I had never ate at Friendly's. At Friendly's here, and I'm gonna just give this as a real quick example. We at Friendly's, so fuck Friendly's. If you're watching, if you're listening, holla at me.
Hey, wait, they got to give us. We got Friendly sponsorship, so I don't know if you could say fuck. Nah.
Well, we get there, and there is no real place where you can see where the line is, right? Where you see where you go. There is a cash register off to the right. It's a rope in the middle of the place, and so you get there and up through the door. You really don't know which way do you go. Do you go through this? Do you order 1st? Is it sitting here? Like what is it? Right? Well, we standing there. Nobody's talking to us. Some people, I guess, that knew what they was doing. They came in and went straight sit down. But I'm like, yo, where did they get the menus from? Like, and they looking at me like I'm crazy. They looking at us like we crazy. Like we just standing there. What we standing there for?
Y'all don't know what to do.
Yeah,
y'all look crazy.
We look crazy.
I'm just like, they're looking at like, ew. Look at them, novice.
Novice, yeah. That's what I'm like, yo. Don't put me out here like that. I don't know how this is supposed to work.
Oh shoot!
I should have just went into the kitchen and be like, yo, I thought I was coming to work.
No, that's hilarious. So back to the topic with pivoting and staying in, like I'm gonna say stay in your lane, but how do you, because sometimes I look at it like, well, are you making the best out of your situation, right? So I look at it as in, like, say for example, if you have a job, in my opinion, I don't think you should work any job for no more than like 3 to 5 years without some type of promotion or something like that. And if they're not promoting you, then you got to jump to move to the next one. But like, say for instance, you're within the job and you've been doing this, you know, say 5 or 7 years, like, and you're trying to figure out how to move to the next step. Like, what are some ways, at least from you in a just thinking about it, like, what are some strategies that you would use to look at moving to the next level? Because You shouldn't be stuck in one position, right?
Yeah, I would say this. Based on what I've been doing and what I noticed is that they always add some extra to your play. A job always wants you to add some extra to your play. So let's say you're a developer, and now let's say they want you to run. You're a developer. Now they say they want you to help other developers, right? Mm-hmm. Now they say they want you to help other developers. So then I look at that and I'm like, okay, what skill set does that mean I need to bring to the table, right? I'm working on workflows, right? And I realize that most developers don't work on workflows. I'm working on workflows, but most developers don't work on workflows. So then, what jobs? Now I'm searching the internet. What jobs do what's in that job description and what they're making when they add these new responsibilities to you, right? Mm-hmm. And then even if you find stuff that you can do, or you can make some more money with, as far as how it added to your job. Like I've been working, and like when the work started getting slow and you start looking for stuff to do, and you're like, yo, if we just add this feature to the calendar, that could probably increase some usage, right? Mm-hmm. So then I'm looking to see, like, how do these skills upscale my job, upscale my salary, right? Because every skill that I figure, like, every skill that you learn, that's at least another $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. And when I say another $1,000, I'm talking about another $1,000 a year. So, like, if you say,
nah, it's got to be more than that at this point.
Well, I'm talking about these micro skills, right? So,
yeah, because you look at $1,000. I was talking to my ex one time, and we were talking, and she was saying how 5,000, like, she was trying to decide between a job, and the difference between the job was like $5,000. I was like, yo, that's like $3 extra an hour. I didn't know. I was like, if you go switch and you have your comfort level where you at, like, at least make sure that it's significantly, not significantly more, but a good amount more that makes sense for you within your career. Now you're saying that $1,000 per each one. Now, in my opinion, if you add 5 different things to the things that I'm already doing, that means I'm doing more than, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a job, but I'm doing more than what I got hired for. So now we got to start changing titles, because titles could be a thing. Whether you're
and that's kind of where I was going, because I end up changing the title from being senior developer to lead developer to lead developer DevOps, right?
Yeah.
And like that, and I'm like, look, I'm doing extra stuff so I could get, like, where's I can't get extra hours. You asked me to do extra stuff. I mean, so what happened with my last job? They fired our basically our president, right? Our VP, right? Mm-hmm. And then instead of them saying, okay, we're gonna have another VP, they were just like, oh, we'll split this up between you and Kevin, and you do the
that means your VP status or what's the word, assistant VP status or something like that.
Right. And so I got more responsibilities, so I'm like, yo, like, yeah, I see y'all cut his whole. I don't know what he was making, but y'all cut it, and they was like, okay, we'll give you 10 extra hours a week. And I was like, you gonna make me work 10 extra hours a week? And they was like, no, your 40 is now 50 because of the contract I was under, right? So now
that's weak as fuck.
Huh?
So wait, they paying you 50 instead of the 40?
Yeah, they paying me 50 hours instead of 40.
But you're still doing 40.
Yeah, I'm still doing 40.
Oh, okay.
I didn't understand it at first, so I was like, yo, like, I gotta work 50 hours to make to get to 50. And she was like, no, I'm giving you 10 hours per week just for the extra work that you're doing.
So if your contract is, say, $75 an hour, you're getting paid an extra $750 a week.
Yes.
That's weak as fuck.
How much?
I mean, it's still good money. I mean, It's good money. I mean, don't get me wrong. No, it's good money, like $750, $1,500, $3,000. Well, I mean, that's adding 36,000.
Yeah, but what the lady
overall.
was telling me is like she didn't want to, like, if based on the contract that they have, you know what I'm saying? And then like which, you know, it's a bunch of, when you work on the tiers, there's a bunch of stuff that can happen, right? So she was like, that's probably the easier course. And like matter of fact, she was our CTO and she's good people. But I still don't have a job. So Karen, if you're watching or listening, you know, I still need a job.
It's 75. Yeah, I guess that's not that bad, but you know, like I said, it's adding 36,000 a year. So that could be beneficial. I mean, 36,000 is some people's salary. So but sometimes I look at it, like I said, that 5,000 when my ex was talking about that, I'm like 5,000, like that ain't gonna do you shit. Like, I mean, to switch jobs, to move and all that.
And I'm not just saying, I'm just saying doing the research and saying like, and when I say these micro skills, it's like, hey, you learn another framework, right? You learn this other framework that, you know, that you can add to your resume, or you now you are the lead peer review person where you do peer reviews. You show people, or you the onboarder, right? So like these are micro skills. I call them micro skills that need to be done and that some people can't quantify, but I can say, hey, I've done these and add this to my repertoire, saying, hey, look, this is worth at least $1,000 more a year. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I didn't change my title just because it's funny. I got hired as a Salesforce guy, but then my title currently is like membership manager. And I'm like, that has zero to do with Salesforce. Yeah. And that quote unquote takes me out of the Salesforce space, even though I'm still working within Salesforce. I'm the Salesforce guy. Why in the fuck is Salesforce not within my title? And even when I was talking to one of the partners, he was like, well, you know, on the emails and stuff like that, you just got to have membership manager. I was like, all right, cool. But on my LinkedIn,
membership manager, like what does that mean as far as MIT? I never heard of that.
It means nothing towards the work that I'm doing. Like I'm literally doing all Salesforce things and some, you know, relationship management within the customers. So it's just like, why is that not the focus? Like, so shit, I'm still the product manager for Salesforce because I'm the person that does all of the Salesforce stuff. You know, so, but I make sure that that's like on my LinkedIn that I'm good, but in the realm of the company, you know, or within emails and stuff like that, I'm strictly the membership manager, even though I'm the membership manager that's the folk that focuses on Salesforce. Which is dumb.
I mean, I guess you got memberships as far as like MailChimp, like they got like that's a membership thing where you got.
I use MailChimp.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we're pushing off of MailChimp, but
why y'all pushing off MailChimp?
Too much spam. It's not viable. Like we're trying to use. You don't know if you ever heard of this program called Apollo, but we're trying to use Apollo is very similar to MailChimp. So like we're using Apollo in Meet Alfred, and it's essentially sending out all of these emails to people trying to generate business and stuff like that, and get them to upsell and have the rest of their peers be a part of the program as well. So.
Okay, because you know we doing the 30-year reunion, right? Mm-hmm. And like I was going to use MailChimp, but then I use this other because like managing email has gotten to be a whole different science now. Like it used to be terrible. Like I used to do programs that manage email, but now having to keep track of content that you have to have for removing yourself, the different standards and removing yourself, and the different liabilities in the different countries as far as data and what data you can keep in track and stuff like that. It is a totally different animal, right? The MailChimp is really good at saying, okay, this is how many.
Who's he singing happy birthday to? Whose birthday is this? Whose birthday is it?
Whose birthday? I don't know.
He had a whole birthday song. I was like, who's he singing?
Yeah. So now, like the one that I'm using right now for the whatchamacallit, it's got a lot of built-in stuff. Where
whatchamacallit?
For the reunion.
Oh, for the okay.
I'm sending out the email with so everybody can get what we doing and stuff. That one is like being able to say remove myself. Like I didn't even think about why would you give me your email if you don't want me to send you email, right? So that was a problem that I was getting sending out email personally, right? Through that whole box or whatever. It's like, well, please take me off this list. I don't want to go to the reunion. And I want to be. You won't put yourself in there as going.
Oh, so you? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you know, man. Like some people take that stuff personally. Versus me, I'm like, dude, like my Gmail be so flooded with terrible emails. Sometimes I unsubscribe to them and stuff like that, but for the most part, I'm like, whatever. Just send the shit and then
delete it.
I'll decide if I want to do it or not. Like I don't get offended, be like, oh god, here come another one of them reunion emails. It's like, but sometimes too, that makes it a little bit more difficult. Like I really have to check my email on a daily basis just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Because if I don't check my email for 3 days, then that shit could be like pages later. So
yeah,
but
yeah, I mean, it's a gift and a curse. But now I'm not worried about it. They can administrate it themselves. The only thing that I'm having an issue
they
with,
gotta go. Shit.
Yeah, but like it's just not for because I'm building it out for the whole alumni for all of Muskegon. So I got to build a system so they can adjust to those regulations, even though we ain't big enough yet. But if we set it up for beforehand, we'll be better.
Yeah. Stay ready. Don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
So, so let me ask you this question. This is the last topic. We was talking about like one of the topics is having an optimistic view versus a pessimistic view. This could be career, relationship, etc. Like, how does Brian brain work as far because I know, say for instance, with me, right? I have an optimistic view on the things that I can accomplish, but I have sometimes a pessimistic view on the people that I can do it with, if that makes sense. I'm just saying this as an example. But how does your brain work within that? Like, especially within your career, like, because, and I say the pessimistic view, say within your career could be, this is the only job I'm going to do, so I can't do anything else, versus the optimistic view, like, well, this is what we were talking about earlier, that, well, I want to pivot to tech. What do I need to do to, like, how do I grow within tech type of?
I mean, so that's the complexity of it, right? Because it's the good and the bad. It's the Tupac Dear Mama versus and I get around, right? And I say that because, like, right now I am under attitude. If I get
say that one more time.
It's the Tupac, it's the duality, right? It's the
Tupac. I get around versus
and Dear Mama, right? It's the same person, but it's both sides of the coin, right? And I say that because the complexity of it is like right now, I feel like I don't have a job. If I get one, I get one. If I don't, I'm gonna make it do what it do. My pessimist. So I'm normally optimistic, but like when people tell me that they putting out 50 applications a day, that's not ever gonna be me. I'm not a quantity person. Like that's just hard for me to do because I'm like
quantity over quality.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm gonna put a few in a day, and then like it's not sink and swim right now. It's sink and swim with I can do other stuff too, and technology, and like doing this other stuff. I can earn enough to do it. So like there's both pessimistic ways and optimistic ways, because I feel like right now the job market is really crazy. They putting out all these jobs and they collecting all this data, right? With all these people resume, what they did. Sometimes I think it's just a data grab. Because I don't see when they're hiring. Like it's like people.
It's resume responses like 6 to 8 months later. That's crazy to me. Like I've gotten some things in it, like even when I wasn't working in December in January, you know, I was applying for jobs and stuff like that. And I was applying for jobs before then, but I'm getting responses. I'm like, damn, I don't even remember applying for this job at this point in time. Like, oh shoot, what? So, like you said, I mean, that I don't know if it's an analytic thing that they're doing, but it feels like it when I'm like, I feel like I should get a response right away or within a month to say, you're not what we're looking for, or let's bring you in for an interview. I don't if you're because it should be cutoffs, right? You're going to find your candidates. You're going to say, well, we want these 5 people. We're going to bring them in, and then the other resumes, you can literally just say, thank you for applying. You do not match up, and go from there.
Yeah,
but saying that shit like 6-8 months later is crazy to me.
It's crazy. Like they just closing out a job. They got like you looked on LinkedIn, they'd be like 3,000 submissions. You like, dog, like I don't want to be one of 3,000.
Yep.
Like that's ridiculous, right?
But
and
the
then
optimistic view of that is like, well, I'm gonna be 3,001, and I'm gonna be the one that they go pick.
Yeah, but then like it's so like I see that and I'll be like, yo, this is right up down my alley, and like some of the stuff, especially these customized job descriptions. But what I'm learning is that a lot of these people using this AI stuff, and resume is really not getting to them, right? So I'm a programmer, so I subscribe to Dry, right? And if you're a programmer, you should know what Dry is, right? Don't repeat yourself. I try to do that in real life too, right? Don't repeat myself. I said once, I'm done, right? So on your resume, if you keep saying the same thing over and over again, juror at this job, like it's a bunch of jurors just taking up space, right?
Listen,
so
and you're right. I mean, throughout my resume, I had to get better at this. But if I did this, even though I did this at this other job, I'm not going to mention it in that other job. Because I feel like sometimes titles kind of let them know anyway. Yeah. So if you know that I was a product manager or a business analyst or a coder over here, and I say, hey, I coded in this, then, you know, if I'm still the manager or I still within that space of coding, then of course I've worked within this job and I got that experience. Within this job, I got that experience. I'm getting, and one thing but the dope part about the chat GPTs and the AI and stuff like that is it's making it easier. You can almost you can do so much with so little. Like I did an interview not that long ago, and I didn't realize I wasn't talking about it, but within the interview, the guy said that I didn't speak more on the tactical things that I did, but he didn't ask me the tactical things. So I was like, well, okay, next interview, I'm going to speak on the tactical things. But I was like, I put it in ChatGPT. I was like, what are tactical things I can speak to when talking about Salesforce? And then a whole list came up. I was like, damn, I did all of this stuff. You know, like, I mean, I had to word it, you know, like, of course it wasn't like verbatim, but I mean, I did all of those things in my own capacity, you know, towards the goal.
The hard part about that is like they're using that same stuff to filter out this, right? So like you can use ChatGPT to say some stuff, and then they can be filtering out the same stuff using to, like, it's a gift and a curse, right? So like,
I mean, but the energy is less than me trying to sit up here and think about like, what does he mean by tactical?
Yeah,
you know, like, so like I said, it's like you said, it's a gift and a curse, but at the same time, that there should be no reason why you don't have a resume. It should be no reason why you can't look. Whether it doesn't even necessarily have to be ChatGPT, it could just be Google. Like, shit. I mean, I look at people's resumes, and I look at somebody's resume on LinkedIn, and I'm like, I'm grabbing that whole paragraph, take the whole paragraph off of theirs, put it on mine. And then, but I make sure that it matches up to what I've done. You know, it's not like I'm just.
You make sure you can speak to it, but
I'm not like just taking it just because it looks good on their resume. I'm taking it because I've did these things, but I'm not mentioning them. You know, so And that's always the hard, because you don't want to, in interviews, you don't want to say too much. You don't want to say too little, right? You want to make sure that they, you don't want to be like, oh, damn, like they go get annoyed with me with all the talking. But then it's like, well, did I say enough? Like I said, in that interview, I didn't say enough, even though I talked about the things I did. I'm like, well.
So then you become a stripper in your interview?
You say that
you tease them enough to get them almost there and bring them back.
That's what you got to do. I mean, I always say all my interviews, I try to have a conversation. If I can tell throughout the interview now. I used to not be able to read the room as much, but I can look at it and be like, nah, I'm not confident. I'm gonna be like, man, yeah, I did the damn thing in that room, So I know that, that confidence, and this is where it goes to being optimistic. Like, I mean, I've been in interviews where I thought that I killed it, and shit, I didn't. But I was like, okay, well, next interview, I'm gonna come back. I'm saying, like, I'm going to keep that optimistic part of it and not be deterred by the things that I want to accomplish. So
before we get out of here, I want you to just go ahead and expound on that. How do you know you killed it? Is it the feedback that they give you? Because I'm having a hard time. I ask for feedback, and if I'm one of 30 interviews, right, they act like it's too much to give me feedback.
No, I'll get into that. But the one thing, like when I got the feedback for the tactical thing, I hadn't gotten that type of feedback in a long time, where I was like, oh shit, this gives me something. Like, I was more so excited about, I wasn't excited I didn't get the job, but I was more so excited, like, okay, he just gave me a nugget of things that I need to make sure that for my next interview, I need to talk about. But when I feel like to answer your question or to expound on how I feel when I feel like I killed it, when I feel like I'm more of a conversationalist when I'm interviewing, right? I'm asking them questions just as much as they're asking me questions. They could get annoyed, or they could just, I feel like you could either take it with a spoonful of salt or a cup full of sugar. It's like, I'm going to ask you, because this is me interviewing you as you're interviewing me. And when you get to that point of comfortability within the room, it makes it easier to have a conversation. Like, I want to know how much work I'm gonna have to do within the next 3-6 months to a year. I need to know, do you all have this written out? Because I don't want to come in and say, well, I'm gonna do this contract for $75 an hour, but then now I have to turn around and do more work than what was told to me within the interview. I'm not I will literally renegotiate at that point in time. And the thing is, the tough part about that is having something versus not having something. Because out of desperation, you like, well, I could really use a $75 an hour. But then if you're in a comfort level, and this is one thing that I wanted to mention as far as, even, pivoting from tech or pivoting to tech or staying within your lane within your career, is that sometimes, or not sometimes, most of the time, your what you have available to you makes it easier for you to do those transitions. Now, when you're in a sign of desperation, you're like, I'm gonna take any opportunity, but then you end up taking less because you're desperate, and that's the pessimistic side versus like the optimistic side is like, no, I need to get the bag that I should get. So, but to answer your question, as far as the comfortability, feeling great about an interview, is that I feel like it has to be a strong conversation. It has to be a conversation where there was, not to say that there were no drops, but there's a nice interaction. There's some smiles in there. There's some
laughter. Yeah.
The energy, laughter. Like you are eager to ask me questions, and I'm answering the questions. I'm seeing your response. And most of the time, one thing I'll peep out is when somebody asks you to go deeper into the, not like with us, but like in the interview, they ask you to go deeper within the question. They don't fully understand. So you have to explain it like a 4-year-old, because if you're not explaining it like a 4-year-old, they're not going to accept your answer and they're not going to move you forward. And that's one thing I try to be I try to make sure that I'm because you can't necessarily be ready for a question or you can't be ready for the second question if you didn't know the first question was coming in the first place. So I try to practice different ways of interviewing so I can, and this is one thing too, you said the term dry, is that give them the answer that don't make up no shit. Give them the answer that you're comfortable with. Fuck if they're comfortable with it, because if you're comfortable with it, they're more impressed, in my opinion, with your confidence rather than you making up some shit and be like, yeah, I've been coding for 40 years. It's like, nigga, no, you ain't even, you're 48. But anyway,
right.
So giving them that and standing on it, like stand on, and if they feel like it's not good enough, that's fine. Accept that and move on rather than trying to convince them. Because if you don't, it's certain people that I've interviewed with, and I'm like, nah, they ain't trying to hear me before the interview even starts. Like you could reading the room and understand, like, nah, certain people, they're gonna ask you silly questions like, can you code this right? Why am I coding right now? Like, why am I even solving your problem right? I can't solve your problem over, like, whether it's within a conference room, whether it's virtual. I can't solve your problem is the reason why you're hiring me. I can't give you a 30-minute fix for your problem. That you've been dealing with this problem for 6 months to a year, and you're expecting me to be able to explain how to solve your problem within like 5 minutes. That's not possible because it's your problem. I don't know the full details of your problem, and you're not going to give them to me. And then even if you decide to listen to what I'm saying, you can still decide not to hire me, take my problem solving skill, and then apply it to somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's what they do at sometimes. But then sometimes, like you said, it's very peculiar because I've been in the game 20 years, and you asking me to do a coding assessment, I'm really gonna be like, I really don't have time for this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's okay. That's what you should do. Because a lot of people feel like I'm not here to write. I'm not here to solve your problem right now. I am here to see if I'm the best fit for this position. And that's it. Like, that's a chemistry. Are you a likable person type of deal? Because like I said, any job anybody can do. It's like, it may be some bumps in the road for certain people just because of experience. But if you say, hey, Sean, go over here and do some coding, even though I haven't touched coding in years, I can still figure it out just because I can read code. But it's just always interesting that, you know, like I'm not going to code for you right here. Like, no, I'm not. Like at that point in time, I feel like you're trying to.
Yeah, don't let nobody belittle you. You right?
Yeah, because that's what they're doing. Like because look, if I ask, like, it's almost like dating, right? If I ask you like a certain question, and you're like, this goes, I mentioned this before, but like the $300 date, right? If we had a $300 date, I get to $300, I just met your standard, but I'm still not off the hook. Yep. You're still trying to figure out so you still may not even date me. But if I get to $250 isn't enough, but $250 is enough for somebody else for you to go and date. Like, I don't need to fucking, like, job hiring is interesting because they need you just as much as you need them, because it's a missing piece for them that they need to fill. So it's like, well, okay, well, I feel like if you have a better candidate, don't waste my time. I'm okay. I'm not gonna, like, but the thing is, you got to be desensitized to that thing. I've interviewed so much.
You gotta know enough to be out, right?
Look, I've interviewed so much. It's just like, oh, I ain't get it. Keep it moving. Next job. I mean, I'm applying for jobs that I want or the companies that I want to work for, but at the same time, it's like I've been so desensitized from being turned down that it's like, fuck it, shit, next job, you know.
Right. I mean, that's sometimes when I send out my resume, sometimes I feel like that. Like, shit, what's the worst they can say? You know, I met with Amazon. I was like, yo, give me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You don't you don't make it. Was it you don't
you
miss a
miss
shot you
100%
don't
of
take?
the shots you don't take, right?
Yeah, it's like nah, like go ahead and shoot your shot if you think that you're compatible. Like, listen, it's better off getting the feedback. So even like to take this full circle, people that's like trying to pivot or switch out careers or trying to move on and advance, it's like apply for those jobs that you want, and then try to receive that feedback that okay, not that you're not good enough, but you don't have the experience. Okay, well, that in my opinion, would force you more to explore and figure out how to get that experience. But like I said, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. So always look into that before you even consider the job. At least in my opinion, I'm not going to apply for a job for a CEO at this point in time. Like, I mean, I can make my own. I could be my own owner or whatever, but I'm not going to apply to be CEO of Amazon if I still have a lot more that I can do within my career to sustain me actually applying for those positions. So,
All right. Well, Sean, we're gonna have to wrap it up. It's that
let's do it.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry about the technical difficulties, but we get together.
Nah, we cool. Nah, it's all good. We figure it out. Thanks, like I said, for jumping on. Sorry, I know you had like it was last minute switching over to another time, but no, I appreciate being able to jump on with you. And then that's it. Thank you all for listening to the Reality or Not podcast with your boy Sean DJ Reality, and then your boy Brian Clincy from Nothing New Under the Sun. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you got a problem with what we say, then say it in the comments. If not, then keep it moving. Brian, you got anything to say to the listeners before we step out?
Yeah. I got some nice new products that's coming online. So like we starting a new version of G Coded. So stay tuned for that. I'll send you some information on that. And yeah, it's about to be really nice. And my girl Harriet Thomas said, we out.
All right, no doubt. Peace.